This is your Adventist News, a service of the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. I'm Adriel Hepburn. Coming up in this week's broadcast, Women Saved by Grace, Right Estate makes donation toward music development, and church launches series of community-based events. These stories and more on this week's Adventist News. Thanks for joining us for this week's Adventist News. Women Saved by Grace is the theme for the Women's Ministry Spiritual Awakening and Empowerment Series for the women and young ladies in the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, with the speaker Beverly McMillan Williams. Meetings will continue until March 7, 2020 at the New Providence Seventh-day Adventist Church, Soldier Road. The series is taking the women on a spiritual journey as they receive empowerment while they cover topics regarding issues that they encounter on a daily basis, such as depression, loneliness from grief, alternative lifestyles, menopause, etc. Nightly, women from all walks of life cast their issues into the well, like the Samaritan woman who met Jesus at the well in faith to receive prayer for restoration, healing, and deliverance.
We are all children of? If we are His children, this means He is our Abba Father. Huh? We are His offspring. He is the creator. We are the created. This fact alone makes me want to be awake. Yes. Wake, woman, into the heart.
Jacqueline Gibson, Women's Ministries Director of the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, when asked of what she expected at the end of the series, said, "My prayer is that we would have left our sometimes dry, thirsty, and sometimes broken service and exchange it for one that transcends more than we could ever think or imagine as we accept God's grace, which is greater than all our sin." Ladies from our communities are encouraged to be a part of this inspirational series. Meetings will continue on Friday evening, March 6th at 6:45 p.m. and Saturday morning, March 7th at 11 a.m. This past Wednesday morning, Bahamas Academy, as well as the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, received a major donation to their music departments in the form of a piano, an organ, and a saxophone. These donations were given by Mr. Carlton Wright, former ambassador of the Bahamas, and his late wife, Audrey Dean Wright, music extraordinaire.
My wife, as I had mentioned earlier, is a very generous person. And these gifts that have been donated today were a part of what she expressed in her will several years ago. And hence, since she has passed now almost 18 months, I can hardly believe it, as you can imagine, it does take some time for these kinds of matters to come to a conclusion. And so we arrived at that point, and hence the presentation of the musical gifts today.
These gifts were well received by the faculty and students of Bahamas Academy, as well as the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, who was represented by Pastor Kenny DeVoe, President, and Mr. Anthony Burrows, Educational Director.
The conference is extremely grateful for these gifts today from Sister Audrey Dean Wright, friend of the conference and the former music director of our conference. And so these gifts will be very impactful to the continuation of the music ministry of the conference. It can only help us to go a little higher. There are several of our churches who are without instruments, and so we will endeavor our best to put these instruments in our churches where they will be of best use. And we think that the music ministry of those conferences and those congregations will be enhanced as a result of these gifts, and we are again eternally grateful.
Mrs. Juliet Sands, principal of Bahamas Academy, gave a vote of thanks to the Wright Estate for this generous donation and presented Mr. Wright with a certificate of appreciation. The Community Services Department of the Good News Seventh-day Adventist Church launched its Healthy and Wealthy Living public lecture series with a presentation on backyard farming by Mr. Basil Miller, Assistant Director, Department of Agriculture. Participants learned about soil science, how and where to plant seeds, nurturing seedlings, and natural ways to deal with pests that destroy plants. This was followed by an aromatic cooking demonstration that was done by Chef Philip Ambrister to encourage persons to cook and eat more healthy plant-based dishes. The lecture series continues on March 9th with a focus on oral health and hygiene, March 16th with a focus on Bible-based perspectives on food. On March 23rd, the Central Bank of the Bahamas will present on digital currency, the sand dollar, and the passing of the penny. The public is invited to attend the Monday night series held at 6:30 p.m. at the Good News Church Fellowship Hall, Great Britain Street, Flamingo Gardens, opposite the Gerald Cash Primary School. The evangelistic efforts continue in our conference as two churches in the Creole District are spreading the gospel to the Haitian brethren throughout the island of New Providence. The district pastor, Wilson Isnord, is the speaker for the meetings being held under a tent on the grounds of the Ebenezer Seventh-day Adventist Church on Bernard Road in Fox Hill. The meetings are electrifying as Pastor Isnord imparts the Word of God with clarity. The congregation has been learning more each evening about Jesus, the only hope for a troubled world. The meetings continue until March 14, 2020. Thursday and Saturday evenings are the off nights. Please stay tuned. We'll be back with your upcoming events after this short break.
Spring Youth Evangelism 2020 is here. Lost and Found, the Samson Delilah story, a joint evangelistic series for all youth, adults, members, and friends. The dates, Sunday, March the 22nd to Sabbath, March the 28th, 2020 at 7 p.m. nightly. Thursdays are off nights. The venue, Living Faith Seventh-day Adventist Church. Guess what? Refreshments will be on sale. The guest speaker for Spring Youth Evangelism is Pastor Damian Chandler, Senior Pastor of Capital City. The Oshkosh 2019 speaker, a gospel recording artist, worship leader, and best-selling author. Spring Youth Evangelism 2020, a National Youth Week of Prayer. Living Faith Adventist Church, 7 p.m. nightly. Sunday, March the 22nd to Sabbath, March the 28th, 2020. See you there and bring a friend.
Welcome back to Adventist News. Here's what's coming up in the South Bahamas Conference. The Children and Adolescent Ministries Department will continue its Leaders Certification Training on March 27th through 29th at the Message of Hope Church. All personnel from the Child Department who participate in Level 1 are asked to ensure that they attend this certification, which is Level 2 of the program. The Women's Ministries Department will also host a retreat on March 20th through 22nd on the island of San Salvador under the theme, God's Daughters Embrace Mission. For more retreat information, contact the department at 242-357-8030. The Communication Department will host a workshop on March 22nd, 2020 for all media departments of our churches. The instruction will be on photography for our churches and news writing made simple. Sign up now at sbcadventistnews@gmail.com. The Berea, Breath of Life, and Good News churches are encouraging you to veganize your meals. Learn to cook 3-course wholesome meals on Sunday, March 15th at the Breath of Life Church at 2 p.m. A small donation is required. Call 242-636-0330 for more information or contact the health ministries leaders at any of these churches. AMR Music Ministry, in conjunction with the show Eternal Pages from Word SBC 88.3 FM, will host a concert featuring the music of Alison Moret Roll and Chosen You, along with the music of Roger Mike, Sunday, March 29th at 6 p.m. at the Good News Seventh-day Adventist Church in Flamingo Gardens. The concert will showcase original songs from the show. Cat Island Adventist Advancement Society invites persons to travel with them to Cat Island for the Easter weekend, April 10th through 12, 2020, for homecoming. For further information, contact Elder Norman Seymour at 242-457-0067. For information on these events and more, visit our conference website at southbahamasconference.org, where you can view the news as well as various programming, read the weekly logos, or please feel free to call our headquarters at 242-341-4021.
Light bill is due. Phone bills must be paid. And that important business meeting is tomorrow. That headache you have and the racing of your heart is due to stress. According to WebMD, stress is your body's natural response to changes in your body, your thoughts, and your environment. Situations and pressures that cause stress are known as stressors. Stressors are not always negative, like a busy work schedule, but stress can also be caused by positive events, such as getting married or going to college. Not only can stress be external, it can also be internal, like worrying about something that may or may not happen. Stress varies from person to person. Speaking in front of a crowd may be a stressor for some, but for others, it may be a breeze. Symptoms of emotional stress includes change in eating habits, difficulty making decisions, and sleeping more than usual or having trouble sleeping. Symptoms of physical stress includes frequent colds and infections, chest pain, rapid heartbeat, and upset stomach. Symptoms of cognitive stress includes constant worrying, inability to focus, and forgetfulness. To prevent stress, accept that there are some events that you just cannot change. Exercise regularly because your body can fight stress better when it's fit. Get enough rest and sleep so your body can have time to recover from stressful events. Make time for your interests and learn to say no to requests that will cause excessive stress in your life. This has been Parisha Ferguson with your health tip, courtesy of Adventist Television. And remember, God wants us to prosper and be in good health.
We go now to our news feature from around the world with the Adventist News Network.
Thank you so much for joining us this week.
First, in the news, Germany and the world was saddened by a racially motivated attack that took place in the city of Hanoi on February 19. The attack left 11 people dead, including the victim and his mother.
The shootings were centered around 2 shisha bars in immigrant areas of the city. 5 of the victims were Turkish citizens.
In light of the attacks, the Adventist Church in Germany released a statement expressing their sadness at the attacks. The statement says, in part, the president of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Germany, Werner Dullinger, is stunned by a racially motivated terrorist attack that ended with 11 dead in the city of Hanoi just a week ago. There's no rational explanation for such a hideous act. As a church, we react with shock, horror, and lack of understanding to this brutal and inhumane event in Hanoi. Our prayers and compassion go to the victims and their families.
The statement also expresses the Adventist Church's unity in mourning with the relatives of the victims and sincere hope the survivors receive the support and help they need to process the trauma.
The statement goes on to say, as Christians, there must be no place for anti-Semitism, xenophobia, or misanthropy. The great ethnic and cultural diversity is part of our image as a worldwide church. Everyone, regardless of who they are, is a human being in the image of God. Their life and integrity must be respected and protected.
To read the full statement, visit news.edu.adventist.org. International Media Evangelism Ministry, It Is Written, has partnered with Advent Health, a faith-based nonprofit health system, to develop study guides for groups interested in learning about health from a biblical perspective. The Creation Life Study Guides incorporate Advent Health's whole person health philosophy in welcoming an easy-to-remember approach based on the Creation Life framework. The Creation acronym stands for choice, rest, environment, activity, trust in God, interpersonal relationships, outlook, and nutrition. Over the years, Advent Health has developed an array of whole person health materials that have been used by a variety of institutions, congregations, and ministries. When Advent Health got the call for this opportunity, the health system gave It Is Written permission to use the existing Creation Health Bible program as the foundation for the new studies. Pastors and ministry leaders expect the guides to be an effective tool for witnessing in a more accessible way. The Creation Life Study Guides are available now at itiswritten.com, and in the future will also be delivered through the It Is Written Bible Study app. Advent Health plans to make them available to team members in 2021.
That brings us to the end of our Adventist news from the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. Please feel free to share what is happening at your church by sending us your news stories and upcoming events. Feel free to email them to sbcadventistnews@gmail.com or call our media department at 242-341-4021. To view a rebroadcast of the Adventist News along with other programming, or to keep in touch with what's happening in our conference, please visit and subscribe to the conference website, southbahamasconference.org, our YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook and Instagram pages. On behalf of our production team of Adventist Television Channel 658, have a happy Sabbath and thank you for watching this week's broadcast. I'm Adriel Hepburn for the SBC Media Network.